What if magic was real? Keep reading until the end, because once you allow your mind to explore this question, your entire view of reality might change forever. And don't forget to subscribe. This is only the beginning of the journey, the hidden layer of reality. For centuries, humanity has tried to explain the universe with reason, science, and mathematics. We chart the stars, split atoms, and decode DNA. And yet, deep down, we wonder, is this all there is? What if science has only revealed one surface of reality, like the thin skin of an ocean, while below lies an endless depth we have barely touched? What if magic is not fantasy, but the hidden architecture of the cosmos, the energy that science cannot measure, the force that flows through everything yet escapes our instruments? Imagine for a moment that every story, myth, and superstition was not a fabrication but a distorted memory. Dragons, witches, ancient rituals, whispered spells. What if all of them were fragments of truth, glimpses of a world that once bled into ours? The everyday miracle. If magic existed, daily life would be transformed. You wake in the morning and draw the curtains not with your hands, but with a flick of your will. The kettle boils because you ask the water to remember the fire it once knew. Your clothes weave themselves clean, not because of soap and machines, but because threads carry memory and can be persuaded to release dirt. Hospitals would no longer rely solely on steel and medicine. A healer could place their hand above your chest and feel the imbalance of your energy, curing a fever by singing the right tone, or repairing a broken bone by speaking the original word that shaped it. Travel would not mean roads, traffic, or fuel. A doorway painted with the correct sigil might carry you to another city, another country, another world. Journeys would be measured not in miles but in courage, how far you are willing to step through the unknown. Even communication would shift. Instead of texts and emails, you might send thoughts directly, woven with emotion, carried not by satellites but by the air itself. Secrets would be harder to keep, yet understanding between people could reach new depths. The cost of wonder. But magic would not be free. Every force in the universe demands balance. Just as a candle consumes wax to give light, every spell would require a price. The question is, what kind of price? Perhaps the cost is physical. Energy drained from the body, leaving a magician weak after every act. Or perhaps the price is subtler. Memories fading, emotions dimming, pieces of your soul traded for power. Would you still heal your friend if it meant forgetting the sound of your mother's voice? Would you still open a portal if it cost you a year of your life? The existence of such a cost would make every act of magic a moral decision. Small miracles might be easy, but great feats, resurrecting the dead, turning back time, rewriting destiny, might demand sacrifices so heavy that few would dare attempt them. Society reshaped. If magic existed, the very fabric of civilization would change. Would it be taught openly like mathematics and language? Imagine classrooms where children learn not just history but how to shape wind, how to listen to rivers, how to weave light into patterns that reveal truth. Or would governments lock it away, afraid of what ordinary people could do? Would nations build magical armies, enforcing power with storms, illusions, and curses? Would wealth and privilege decide who is allowed to learn the deepest secrets, creating new hierarchies, not of money, but of power? Laws themselves would transform. Justice might not rely on evidence and testimony, but on direct readings of truth, plucked from a guilty heart. But what if such readings could be manipulated? If thoughts can be rewritten, is anyone ever truly innocent? Religions too would change. Would faith collapse in the face of provable miracles, or grow stronger, claiming that magic is simply another form of divine creation? Perhaps gods themselves would walk again, drawn by the voices of believers who now wielded power that once belonged only to the heavens. The darker side, where light exists, shadows follow. With magic, ambition and greed would grow sharper. Wars could be fought not with missiles and armies, but with storms that drown cities, plagues conjured in whispers, illusions that twist reality itself. Assassinations could be silent. One word to still a heart, one shadow to erase a life. Even ordinary crime would become terrifying. A thief could steal not just money, but your face, your voice, your memories. Trust between people would erode, because how do you know if the person beside you is truly themselves or a magical mask? Society might fracture between those who can wield magic and those who cannot. Imagine a new aristocracy of spellcasters, ruling over the powerless, their superiority unquestionable. Or perhaps, fear of magic would unite the non-magical majority, leading to witch hunts, persecution, and endless conflict. The beauty beyond fear. And yet, despite all dangers, there is something irresistible in the thought of magic. It would return wonder to the human spirit. No longer would the world feel small, mapped, and conquered. Forests would not just be trees but living libraries. Oceans would whisper secrets older than mankind. Stars would no longer be distant balls of fire, but gates, voices, or beings beyond comprehension. Magic would make life less predictable but infinitely richer. Every day would hold the possibility of discovery, every person the chance to be extraordinary. The ordinary would vanish. The universe would breathe mystery again. The final question, but perhaps the strangest thought of all, is this: what if magic has always been here? What if myths, legends, and folktales are not inventions, but echoes of real events that we have forgotten? What if the rituals of ancient shamans, the chants of monks, the charms whispered by our ancestors were not superstition but fragments of truth? Maybe we do not see magic today not because it isn't real, but because we have trained ourselves not to look. Perhaps it exists in the silence between thoughts, in the patterns of coincidence, in the impossible moments we dismiss as luck. Maybe the world has always been alive, waiting for us to remember how to listen. So, what would you do if magic existed? Would you embrace its wonder, fear its dangers, or try to master its cost? Subscribe now, because the next time you look at the stars, you might realize the impossible has been with you all along.